Oh, hello, everybody. Welcome to tonight's webinar. I hope you're going to learn a lot. I definitely did when gathering the information for this webinar, and I also deeply hope that this is going to be an hour or so well spent. Yes, so I'm going to give about a minute for other people to join in. If you're already here, please let me know where you're from. Um, yeah, on the chat box. All right, I'm going to give about another minute. In the meantime, you could be telling me where you're from in the chat box. Cool. I think let's just jump right in. The rest will follow us as we go. So yeah, let's get in. So tonight's topic is about intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting is something that has been talked about for an for a very long time, and we have to look at the science. We do not subscribe to the fad diets, the ones that come and go, right? We do not want to yo-yo diet or any of that. So let's look into the science, and then we're going to look at how you can fast safely, right? How to prepare yourself for an intermittent fast, and a few more things. A few more surprises are in this webinar. So please tune in. Stay tuned in. If you know a friend who's interested in this, share this link with them right away. Right away. Um, Also, for the ones who are in the chat or tuned in from my from my website, please go to just refresh your page. I have added a link where you can find the YouTube replay. Okay, the YouTube replay. Let me know if you can see that. If not, please let me know. I'm going to give about 2 minutes for that, or a minute. So please let me know if you can see it. Or another way to get there is to just open on the link, just click share and then copy that into your browser to and then paste it so that you can join the chat. Okay, all right, cool. So let's get into it. So this is what we're going to be looking at. A slight introduction. I need you guys to let me know who you are, and I need you guys to know who I am as well. And we're going to look at the research. We're going to apply what we now know from the research, and then we're going to have a section for Q&A. So for that Q&A section, please use that link that I've just referred you to, and yeah, let's do it. Cool. Right. So that's me. I'm Joseph Anyona, and in 2018, I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. I was just 24 years old, and I was puzzled. I was completely perplexed. And one of the things that made me be able to reverse type 2 diabetes is intermittent fasting. So I've been practicing intermittent fasting and extended fasting for the last 2 years, and I've I've had my own pitfalls and I've learned from others as well. And I hope that I'll be able to share the rich knowledge that I have when it comes to fasting with you guys. And I hope that this information is also easily applicable to you. Okay, cool. So let's jump right in. So Philippus Paracelsus, who is one of the three fathers of Western medicine, said that fasting is the greatest remedy, the physician within. So maybe let's take some time and think about that. Fasting is the greatest remedy, the physician within. So in my mind, how I interpret that is that it's something within ourselves and it kind of helps our bodies to heal by itself, right? And I found that a bit interesting, so I thought to share this. Um, right. So what is fasting? Fasting is basically the intentional practice of abstaining from food. So there's a lot of people will talk about food and drink. There's different types of fasting as we're going to learn from this webinar. Um, just to highlight the major types of fast, there's water fasting and dry fasting. That's literally separating the types of fasting by what you can drink or what you can't drink. Okay, and what I'm going to be talking about in this webinar is water fasting, right? So not dry fasting. And all the research that I'm going to look at on this webinar, that I'm going to refer to as well, is on water fasting. Okay, so I hope we've cleared that. And maybe let's go to the next slide. So when we divide fasting by the time, rather the duration of the fast, that's when we get the extended fasting and the intermittent fasting. So extended fasting can go as long as you want it to go. Honestly, I have seen people fasting with guidance for 30 days and so on, right? So we're going to be talking about intermittent fasting. So one key difference about extended fast and intermittent fast that you should know right now is that intermittent fasts, you need to do them, for them to be beneficial, you need to do them every other day. Extended fasts become very dangerous when you do them every other day. Okay, so if you're practicing extended fasting, I'd discourage you from doing that every other day. So if you're probably doing about maybe 36 hours fast, I would advise for you to maybe do that maybe once in 2 weeks. And the longer the fast, the longer the duration you have to wait before doing another long fast. Okay, cool. So let's look into the research. So I'm very excited about this part of the presentation, and I hope I'll share the excitement with you as well. So there's this study that was labeled Flipping the Metabolic Switch, Understanding and Applying the Health Benefits of Fasting. So this review looked at plenty of papers, and the contributors to that paper are the ones listed below: Anton, Moel, Donahu, Marosi, Manias, and the rest. And I always advise for you to check my sources. Please copy this link or screenshot it and you can look at it later and look at this look at what I'm interpreting in the study, right? So if you have something to discuss with me about that study, I would very much appreciate it. Cool. So the objective, every study has to have an objective. So the objective for this study was basically looking at the bodily responses that happen when you're fasting. Okay, and their criteria was over 12 hours. So we're going to look at that and see all of that. So they looked at a bunch of studies. Some of them were 16 hours, some of them were 18 hours. They even went to the 1 meal a day regimen, and we're going to look at that as well. Cool. So this is a diagram that I got from that study, and this literally shows where fasting affects your body, and it's literally everywhere, from the muscle tissue, from your intestines, your liver, your cardiovascular system, your brain, your blood, and all of those things. So we're going to look at each of these, and I'm going to talk about how intermittent fasting can help you in different places. Right. So the first part of this image that you're seeing here to the left is, at the top is glucose and at the bottom is ketones. So if you have a pen and paper, write this down. Ketones are produced by your body when your body is in ketosis. And ketosis is a state where your body has switched from burning glucose to burning fat as the primary energy source. Okay? So I'm going to repeat that so you can get it right. So ketosis is a process where your body has switched from burning glucose to burning fat as the primary source of fuel for your body. And ketones are generated during that process. So when your body burns the fat, ketones are generated as the substitute for glucose. Okay, that's why people can fast for 30 days without dying or having any other problems. People can fast for 36 hours, 18 hours, and so on and so forth. Right? So at the top there is basically people who have never fasted. And what you can see at the bottom graph here is that their ketones are very low, right? So they are not burning fat in a 48-hour period. So there's 12 a.m., 12 p.m., 12 a.m., 12 p.m., and 12 a.m. again. So that's 48-hour period. In a 48-hour period, people who eat like the Americans, basically 3 times a day plus snacks, never burn the fat. And you'd find a lot of these people are always talking about, why can't I lose weight? Why can't I lose this fat? And so on and so forth. It's all about the ketones. It's all about the ketones. All right, cool. So the second part of this graph is where you're doing an alternate day intermittent fast. So basically 5 days of the 5 days of the week you're eating normally, and 2 days of the week you're practicing intermittent fasting. All right. And what you see here is an image that was taken in a 48-hour period. And what you see here is that the ketones for this set of individuals is that they tend to peak only for a 24-hour period, right? Because they're only fasting 2 days. But how about the last one? And that's what we are interested in. So this is an 18-hour intermittent fast, right? And this is an 18-hour intermittent fasting regimen. And this is what we are after. So look at the ketone levels. The ketones go up twice in a 48-hour period, signifying that if you do this every day, you're going to be burning fat because of ketosis. Okay? Okay? If you have questions, please raise them in the chat box. I'll be very happy to answer them. And at the top is glucose. And glucose goes up. You could see those humps. They go up when you're eating. Okay? When you eat, it goes up, then stabilizes, goes up again and stabilizes. Okay? And so here what you're seeing is that when this person, rather the subject here, broke the fast, the glucose went up again, and then started the fast. And then the ketones started rising before the person ate again. And what you see here in the first one is that the glucose is always on top, meaning that this person is always eating except when they're asleep. Okay, and here is where the glucose is flatlined during these 2 days of fasting. So the glucose is flatlined, and then when they eat, it goes up, then up, and then up. Okay, cool. So what happens in the blood? So ketones, I've already told you what ketones are. Ketones will basically show up in your bloodstream because you're burning fat, and it will try and deliver this new glucose, right, to every part of your body, because every part of your body needs it. And obviously glucose levels will reduce when you don't eat, when you stop eating for about 36, it takes about 36 hours to, sorry, it takes about 36 hours to deplete your glycogen stores. So glycogen is a form of glucose that is stored in the liver. Okay, and after 36 hours, that's when your body switches to something called heavy ketosis. Heavy ketosis is where your body is heavily reliant on the fat that you have stored. Okay, and after about 12 hours the glucose will start to diminish, as we've seen in the previous page. So obviously you're going to reduce your glucose level. So this is especially important if you're a diabetic or wanting to lose weight, and I'll tell you why. And also obviously because glucose has reduced, insulin is also low. Also leptin is what gives you appetite. Okay, so if you're constantly hungry all the time, you should definitely try intermittent fasting, because there's two enzymes that basically control what we eat, or rather how we feel when we feel that we're hungry. It's called leptin and ghrelin. So ghrelin is what tells your body, hey, I've had enough. Leptin is what tells your brain that, hey, I'm hungry. Where's the food? Where's the food? Where's the food? Okay. So reduced leptin levels, you will find that when you're fasting, you do not have appetite. Okay. And the next one is reduced markers of inflammation. So inflammation is very key because inflammation contributes to has been shown to contribute to cancer and a lot of other diseases. Okay, things such as arthritis and so on and so forth. So reduced markers of inflammation. Also reduced markers of oxidative stress. So oxidative stress has also been linked to certain types of cancers and other problems. Okay, so when you do intermittent fasting, this is the change that you will see in your blood. Okay, this is the change that you will see in your blood. Cool. And everything we're going to look at from here, you're still going to see it when you're practicing intermittent fasting. Okay, remember we are into the science. We're into the science. Your brain. So you'd think that when you eat that it's going to be hard to read and memorize, but it's actually the opposite. When you're in a fasted state, your cognition is higher, which means you can learn and memorize things better and faster. Okay, and also resistance to injury. This deals with the stress and also resistance to disease. So immunity, part of the immunity comes from the brain, and when you're in a fasted state, the brain will do a better job at protecting you from diseases. Okay, cool. What happens to the cardiovascular system? And this is especially important for people who have high blood pressure. And the greatest benefit, even what I've seen in the coaching program that I run here at Live Hill, is that fasting for sure reduces blood pressure. And that's the number one thing that I would advise my clients who can to practice, right? So obviously you're going to see reduced blood pressure and reduced heart rate. So if you're interested in reducing your resting heart rate to a healthy rate, intermittent fasting is something you can definitely do. Okay, increased stress resistance. So stress has been shown to have an effect on the cardiovascular system, and when you have an increased stress resistance, basically means your cardiovascular system is in a better place to handle stress. Okay, resistance of cardiac muscle to damage, right? So cardiac, your heart muscles are going to be harder to damage. Okay, and another thing that also goes into the cardiovascular system is cholesterol. And what has been observed is that total cholesterol reduces from between 6 to 21%, which is a good thing. So if you're looking to lose weight, lose fat, drop your cholesterol, intermittent fasting is there for you. It's really there for you. And decrease in triglycerides. So triglycerides is also something that runs in the blood, and when they get too high, it becomes problematic. Okay, and you're still going. If you need to know how much cholesterol you're having, or rather, it's called a lipid panel. You could just go to a hospital, or rather a laboratory, and get yourself those tests done for you. Okay, cool. So let's jump to the liver, and the liver is very, very important. So like I said, the liver stores glycogen, and obviously when you're in a fasted state, the glycogen is going to deplete. Okay, and then ketone production. So that's where ketosis comes in. Okay, that's where ketosis comes in. It burns the fat to produce the ketones, which give you the energy you need. Okay, insulin sensitivity, increased insulin sensitivity. So this is especially important for people who have high blood glucose numbers, or are trying to to limit their, basically to maintain their blood glucose levels at a reasonable level. Okay, and also reduce lipid accumulation in the liver. Cool. Next thing is body fat. So body fat is stored in different places all over our body. So there's that visceral fat, and there's abdominal activity, and visceral fat and subcutaneous fat, and fat is stored all over our body. Some of us have it in our arms. We have it literally everywhere, in our arms, in our butts, in our backs, in our chests. It's literally everywhere, in our legs, and so on. So what intermittent fasting does to fat continually fascinates me, because it goes into a process called lipolysis. Lipolysis is where the fat is oxidized. Remember, we talked about the ketones and ketosis. So this is where your body starts burning that fat. And people who practice intermittent fasting just see the fat coming off, right? And this is the science behind it. Also, reduced leptin production. So leptin has been shown to be produced, or rather to trigger the brain activity for hunger, and it mainly comes from fat cells. Okay, and what happens during intermittent fasting is that the leptin production is reduced. What that means is that your body is no longer going to be very hungry. That's it, because of that leptin production, and obviously reduced inflammation. So the footer at this is basically what I've just said, where intermittent fasting has been shown to reduce overall fat mass and visceral fat. So visceral fat hapo kwa tumbo. There's the visceral, and then there's abdominal cavity, and then there's the subcutaneous fat, right? And intermittent fasting has been shown to break down all these fats. Okay, all these fats, the visceral fats and all other fats. Okay, and what happens to your muscle? And this is a question I get a lot at the gym, because it's a belief that if you don't constantly eat, you're going to lose muscle, you're going to you're going to get weaker and whatnot. And what I found was kind of interesting, right? So it was very, very interesting. And what I've known for a while as well. Okay, so in your increased insulin sensitivity in the muscle. So what that means is that your muscles are able to uptake the glucose very, very fast and very easily without problems. This is especially important for diabetics, okay, or people struggling with high blood sugar, okay. Enhanced efficiency and endurance. You'd think that when you've not eaten, you're going to have a decreased efficiency and endurance, but it's actually the opposite, okay. Reduced inflammation in your muscle. This is obviously a good thing. And then retention in muscle mass. That's something that people in the gym need to hear, right? So you retain muscle mass when you're practicing intermittent fasting. So how about that, right? How about that? Also, emerging findings, and this is the best part. Emerging findings further suggest that exercise training in a fasted state enhance muscle growth and endurance. So this is something that if you want to get muscle, if you want to become stronger, definitely practice this. Definitely practice this. Okay. Cool. So what happens to the intestines? You've not eaten for 18 hours. What exactly is going on there? And what has been shown to be the effect is that you have reduced inflammation in your intestines. Okay. Cool. So let me just take a step back and talk to you about the coaching program. And the coaching program is now open with only limited slots available. So in the coaching program, you'll get to learn from me how to practice intermittent fasting on a daily basis without ever being hungry, how you can lose weight, how you can meet your health goals, how you can reverse insulin resistance, reverse hypertension, and so many other things. And I say this, and I hope each of you goes to the page that's down below, because you'll get to hear from people who have been through the program, and you're going to you're going to be able to hear their perspective. Okay, it's 2021. It just started. I know you have some health goals, so if you need some help on accountability, please sign up and let's do it. And if you're interested in joining our community where we discuss so many things, we talk about food, we talk about fasting, questions keep on popping, and they're all answered in our community. So please go to that group name. If you need to take a screenshot, please take that screen grab, and I'll find you there. Cool. So now let's apply what we now know. Cool. So how do you prepare for an intermittent fast? You know everything now. You know it's going to help your everything from your blood to your muscles to your liver, your intestines, your cardiovascular system, your liver, everything. It's beneficial for you, but how do you get started? How do you even prepare for this? And we'll start from the left. So time, right? So research has shown that it's beneficial to break your fast in the morning. Okay, so when you start your fast earlier in the day, basically what this means is that at about 3 p.m. is when you start your is when you end your is when you end your eating. It has been shown to be more beneficial, and this is due to something called the circadian rhythm. So the circadian rhythm has been shown to affect some of the internal processes of our bodies, things like fat burning, glucose uptake in your muscles and your tissues, and all this is better in the morning, right? And what my piece of advice here is aim to have your last meal at 3 p.m. by 3 p.m. So when you're doing 3 p.m. and then add 18 hours, that's going to be 9 a.m. So when you're up, you basically break fast, okay? And make sure you get your workout in as well, because exercise has been shown to be better when you before you break your fast. So you exercise, break your fast. Okay, so food. Basically, when you're preparing for an intermittent fast, you know that your fast starts from when you have your last meal. Okay? And in your last meal, the biggest tip I'm going to give you is aim to have fiber-rich foods in your meal, in your last meal. So something like beans, lentil, peas, and you're going to have an easier time through the fast. And for exercise, we've talked about that. So exercise before you break your fast. Okay. Cool. So what happens during the fast? So during the fast, what can you drink? What can you not drink, etc. So non-caloric beverages are okay. What that means is that a drink that doesn't contain any calories. So black tea without sugar, obviously. Green tea without sugar, honey, or any other thing, and purple tea, just plain is okay. And actually, green tea is going to help you a lot if you're having hunger pangs. Okay, so if you're having hunger pangs, just have a cup of green tea. Don't. And also, one tip about the tea is that aim not to have it 8 hours before you sleep, or rather 8 hours before you intend to sleep. Might disrupt that. And coffee is also good. Black coffee, no additives, no sugar, just black coffee. And most definitely water. I always advise for you to be hydrated. So make sure you're well hydrated throughout the fast. So what do? It's pretty much easy. So keep busy. And one thing about the 18-hour intermittent fast, it's just one meal. Okay, you're just missing one meal. So for that one meal, how about reading a book? How about going for a walk? And how about calling a friend? There's so many things that you can do to keep busy. How about finishing that project that is on your plate, and so on and so forth. Cool. So how do you break your fast the right way? So I cannot overemphasize the importance of breaking your fast. You do not want to mess with this. This is the most important thing. So if there's nothing else you're going to take away from this webinar, this is what. Just please take this. So poorly breaking your fast poorly has some side effects. Things like gas, things like diarrhea, things like bloating, and you do not want to feel like that, right? And also other things such as water retention. And this has been shown especially during extended fasts, and the subjects break the fast the wrong way. Okay, so if you want to set yourself up for success, veggies. Start with steamed and raw veggies. So things like cabbage, lettuce, kale, spinach, collard greens, broccoli, cauliflower, bok choy, all of this, even the traditional vegetables, please start with them first. Start with them first. And like I said here, steamed and raw vegetables. Okay, that's what you want to start with. Okay. Number two, eat your fruits. Bananas, watermelon, pineapples. Yes, get those in. Remember that this is early in the day, right? And then number two, get aim for minimally processed grains. Okay, so things like brown rice, sorghum, um, wheat berries, and so on and so forth. And the last thing is fiber and protein. So aim to have all these four while you're all these four in that orders: veggie, fruits, grains, and fiber. Or rather, veggies, fruits, grains, beans, peas, and lentils. Okay, so I've arranged them in such a way that it's easier for you to tick off. Okay, you have your veggies, okay, you have your fruits, okay, you have your grains, okay, and you have your beans, peas, and lentils. And or you could do grains together with the peas. It doesn't need to be exclusive. It's just that you need to hydrate your body in the beginning and then get fiber and protein towards the end of your eating window. Okay, cool. So how do you do this? Some of you have jobs, some of you need to go to work, some of you have a tight schedule, etc. So the first tip I'd say is prepare what you will eat in advance. You do not want to be hungry with nothing to eat. Okay? You do not want to be hungry with nothing to eat. You might end up eating the wrong things which are going to subtract your progress. Okay? And number two, arrange your food how you will break your fast. So how I do it is that if I'm going to work, I'm going to arrange them in the reverse order. So my beans and my grains are going to be at the bottom, and then my fruits, and then my veggies. I like starting with veggies because at that time I'm hungry and I can eat a lot of veggies. Veggies have been shown to be the most nutrient dense things in this planet. So you have to get those. So get your nutrients first from the veggies, and then you can go from to the fruits, and then the the grains with the beans or separate, however you like it. Okay. And then number three is obviously eat foods that will hydrate you. So hydration is important for you, and you do not want to be constipated, or you do not want to have any stomach upset or dry lips or something something like that because you were consuming foods that were dehydrating your body. So depending on how you're feeling with the level of hydration in your body, I'd advise for you to go with the foods that hydrate you. And then the last one, enjoy your food. You've earned it. Enjoy your food. Enjoy your food. Cool. So fasting precautions. So basically here is where we talk about who shouldn't fast. So if you are on medication, please don't fast. If you suffer from any illness or at risk of any illness, check in with your medical provider first. If you're on medication, please check in with your medical provider first before attempting to fast. Also, pregnant and breastfeeding women, please do not fast. Please do not fast. You're bringing someone new into this world. Please eat the best foods for that child, and you're going to fast after. Okay. Children below 18 years should only fast under supervision. And also another thing, please do not fast children who are below the age of 15. But as a guardian, that's entirely up to you. But studies have shown that fasting children is not a good thing, especially if they are not supervised with an expert. The elderly should only fast under supervision, and this is very, very important. So please, if you're an elderly person, watch when you're trying to fast. Please watch. Please get some supervision. Cool. So this is it, and I'd like to know if you have any questions. Um, yes. So I'm going to give about 2 minutes for this, and yeah, let's see what we get. Let's see what we get. Also, I'd like to know, what did you learn that you found interesting? What did you not learn, which I think is going to be presented in the Q&A. Yeah, so please give me those questions. Get those questions coming. Okay, I don't think there are any questions. And with that, I am going to end this webinar. I hope you have learned a lot. If you have any questions, if you're watching this webinar later, please reach out to our Facebook page, our email, our Instagram page, anywhere. And with that, I hope you have a great evening. And I hope this has helped you with the information you need to go after your health.